YouTube idiot turned fighter Jake Paul to fight retired boxing legend Iron Mike Tyson.
C-list actress turned Duchess Meghan Markle to fight retired boxing legend Mike Tyson.
And only one of those headlines is true.
Welcome to the state of it.
The state of it!
This week we decided to talk about the event that everyone's talking about, Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. Initial thoughts?
Well, it's crazy. I can say that much for free. And what do you think?
It's crazy. Yeah, I'll echo what you said. It's definitely a spectacle, isn't it? A modern spectacle. I remember Mike Tyson from when I was young. So it's good to see him out and about again. I've heard of Jake Paul.
Right.
All negative, I don't really know anything else about him. I know he's fought people.
Well, he's the one.
I don't think anybody brilliant.
He's one of the ones responsible for "England Is My City," that meme from that awful song that actually I can't remember, and I'm not going to try to. That came out a while ago, and it was like a viral sensation. And but yeah, one of the lines was "England is my city." It's like, oh goodness me. Not quite.
Sure.
Sure. But yeah, I mean, I'm the same as you, Mike Tyson. I mean, you can't really get much more of a legend. Of course, very controversial figure. Lots and lots of things in his checkered past that most certainly add to his infamy. There was, of course, the fight with Evander Holyfield where he got disqualified because he bit a piece of his ear off. Like that's
The man's an animal.
Oh yeah, completely. I think I will say, and it's difficult to know, from that sort of point in his time, peak of fame, late 80s, early 90s. Ultimately, it's quite interesting because a lot of the world's changed a lot since then, of course, and a lot of that sort of bad boy thing of that period was a lot more sort of put up with. But a lot of time has passed, maybe he seems a lot more mellow in his later years, in a lot of ways.
I mean, you say that, but Jake Paul is 100% a bad boy. He's got a bad boy image. The things that he's said, the things that he's done, he is the epitome of a bad boy, but people still watch him.
Yeah, he's more like this sort of generation's version, which is like, we just listed even a couple of things Mike Tyson's done where that's like terrible, like terrible, awful. Jake Paul just tends to be a bit of an insufferable, pardon my French, but that's about it, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the scale of it, with what Mike Tyson's done and been convicted of, etc., versus Jake Paul, he's a saint, really, compared to him. But he is insufferable.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are going to watch this fight because they want to see him get knocked out.
Well, this is it, because ultimately he's got that reputation. I mean, this is the reason because a lot of people are like, why would you even want to fight? Of course, there's going to be the notoriety that comes with it. But this is the word. I've got a little quote from Jake Paul himself. He says, "My sights are set on becoming a world champion, and now I have a chance to prove myself against the greatest heavyweight champion ever, the baddest man on the planet, and the most dangerous boxer of all time." At least there's some slight reverence there in some respects, but the issue is really that Mike's 58 years old, Mike Tyson. Paul is 27. He's had 11 out of 10. Sorry, 1 out of 10 of the 11 things he's done, I think, fights he's done, but they've just been against YouTubers, UFC fighters.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They've been against YouTubers, MMA fighters, that kind of thing. Yeah. And the thing is with MMA fighters doing boxing, yes, MMA fighters can box because that's part of it, but it's a completely different style.
Yeah.
So it would only be impressive, those wins, if Jake Paul had have fought them in MMA. Now, he did fight an actual boxer, which was Tyson Fury's younger brother, Tommy Fury, of Love Island fame. And he lost to that. Now, Tommy Fury, I don't know if he's professional or semi-professional.
Mm.
Not sure, so don't quote me. But he's not that good. He's obviously better than everybody.
The average, yeah.
Every normal, than the average. But he's never won, a big title or anything like that. And he lost.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like you say, the age difference is huge. So if he does win this, I don't think he will prove himself.
No.
I don't think he will prove himself because at the end of the day, age would have been a factor. Now, I think it's supposed to have about 300 million viewers worldwide,
Wow.
live, and then obviously Netflix is going to keep it up there, I'm assuming, so it can be watched after that.
Yeah.
Now, I think Jake Paul, he is insufferable, but he's obviously very clever, and having it on Netflix is an absolute stroke of genius, because the reason I remember Mike Tyson is the same reason I remember Frank Bruno, them
Lennox
kind of
Lewis.
boxers, because Lennox Lewis, exactly. Back in the 90s, it used to be on terrestrial TV.
Yeah.
You used to watch it on Channel 3, I think, used to watch it. So everybody knew. And it was a big nationwide event when an English boxer would fight. 'Cause we all knew the names.
Yeah.
And then it went to pay-per-view. And, I mean, I know the obvious ones, like Tyson Fury.
Anthony Joshua.
Anthony Joshua. And most of that is because they're on TV shows, and then they're on social media, and they're on, like, Netflix.
It's the celebrity around them,
huge...
isn't it? Like the celebrity around them rather than the actual boxing.
Yeah, it's the celebrity. Yeah, but there was this huge gap in between where I couldn't tell you what any boxer was, who the world title was, because it was all on pay-per-view, and it's just not something we did.
Yeah.
Now, Netflix, you could argue it's pay-per-view because it's a subscription you're paying for, but it's not pay-per-view in the way that it was, where it used to be like 50 quid or whatever to watch this fight. So having it on Netflix is an absolute stroke of genius.
Yeah.
By Jake Paul. I think that's brilliant. And to be honest, for his career, whether that career be in boxing or whether that career be a celebrity or YouTuber, etc., fighting Mike Tyson for him is a stroke of genius. Because Mike Tyson does not need to do this.
No.
But he is. And Jake Paul somehow has convinced him, obviously with a lot of dollars involved.
No doubt about that.
But yeah, he didn't need to do it. I think Jake Paul seems to need it a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah, most definitely. I mean, if it is that something of wanting to get that world title at some day, some championship, well, it's a long road ahead, if ever. And you just tend to find that there's a natural talent side of things that, for all of the irritants that I've found in Jake Paul so far, he's definitely worked at something. There's that for him, I guess. But I think, well, the thing is, they've okayed it, so it's been okay. The fight's only going to be scheduled though for 8 rounds. It's usually like 10 or 12, and they're going to be 2 minutes long instead of 3 minutes. And then the gloves they're using are going to be 14-ounce sort of protectors, so the punches aren't as hard as the usual 10-ounce ones they use. So there's a few things like that they factored in, which I think is probably to some degree wise that they did that.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to with Tyson's age, because unfortunately the one thing I think as you get older, the one thing that kind of goes is stamina. And the thing about boxing is, to somebody who doesn't really know about it, it can kind of look like people are just going in a circle around a ring, right? Especially when you get those boring fights where they try and hug each other and nobody really throws much punches. But in actual fact, boxing is very, very athletic, obviously. But to do 12 rounds on 3 minutes is huge. You would be shattered at the end of that. And to expect, I think, a 58-year-old to get to the end of that, I think is a huge expectation. So I think they've definitely done the right thing by changing the rounds and things like that. And to be honest, that will benefit Mike Tyson, but will also benefit Jake Paul.
Yeah.
Because he also has to perform less. And the other thing about Mike Tyson is obviously the health concerns that he's had. I mean, the fight was supposed to happen a couple of months back, but he had to pull out because of a health condition. I think it was an ulcer that he had. Because obviously Jake Paul is the favorite, and I think that health condition is something that has helped that along.
Yeah.
Has helped his odds, definitely.
Most
But I'm
definitely.
so excited that it's going ahead, and I will be watching it.
Well, this is the thing. And what the interesting thing is, so of course you did just mention that Jake Paul is the favourite to win. But a lot of people are wondering, well, maybe it's the pride, Mike Tyson's pride might bring him on. But there was an interesting quote, I think it was for Interview magazine, and it says, this is from Mike Tyson. "What do I care about my legacy? I never knew what a legacy was, and people started throwing that word around so loosely. A legacy sounds like ego to me. I'm going to be dead soon. Who cares what somebody is going to think about me when I'm dead?"
Completely agree.
Yeah.
I really do agree. I think that's a sort of perfect way to live your life.
Yeah.
Do no harm while you're at it. Obviously, as a boxer, so there's going to be some harm involved.
Yeah.
But who cares? Honestly, you do you, boo. And that's what I would say to Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Now, that to me says that his ego hasn't come into play with this fight. However, whether or not his ego's there, he's definitely an ambitious guy. He was world champion. You know, he's obviously got ambition there.
Yeah.
Now, if ego isn't his reason and legacy isn't his reason for doing this fight, obviously he must just want the challenge.
Hmm.
And it is going to be more of a challenge for him in some respects, especially regard to fitness, mainly due to age. But I've seen him. There was a Netflix documentary on recently about the fight.
Mm.
His body is insane.
Yeah. Yeah. And his movements are still so sharp. All of the sort of Tysonisms, like the ducking, and they're all there. It's all there, you know? It's muscle memory, an actual muscle.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Wait a second. Hold on. It appears there might be another blockbuster fight on the cards.
Oh dear.
Meghan Markle, Duchess, podcaster, actress, mother, has also signed on to fight legendary boxer Mike Tyson. The announcement has shocked the world, but the Olympic Boxing Federation stated that if both boxers agree to the fight, there's nothing wrong with it. When asked about the clear advantage Mike Tyson would have over Meghan Markle, the Federation again stated, "It's a fair fight. We sent our reporter Dan Danson to interview Meghan after the announcement was made."
For you to fight Mike Tyson is quite shocking. What led you to this decision?
I'm a strong, independent woman. Probably the strongest the world has ever seen. If I can last 6 years of marriage with Harry, I can last 12 rounds with Mike Tyson.
Critics have already said that the match is unfair. Mike Tyson will win inside the first 10 seconds, and that a trained champion, male boxer, should not be fighting an untrained female. What do you say to that?
By the time we fight, I'll be the most trained person in the world. This is equality in action. I'm doing it for feminism. And myself, but mostly for me.
And what does Harry think about all this?
Harry thinks what I want him to think. So of course, he's 100% supportive, and we'll be watching the kids while I train 8 hours a day with my gorgeous Mexican coach, Carlos.
Well, good luck, Megan. Back to the studio.
With news of the upcoming fight spreading fast, an official representative for the royal family put out the following statement.
We are delighted to hear the news that Meghan Markle will be fighting Mike Tyson. and would like to announce that the entire royal family will be attending the fight with ringside seats. We wish both participants all the luck in the world. And while betting odds may vary, King Charles has put the crown jewels on Mike Tyson at 1 to 10,000. Break a leg. Not literally, of course.
Finally, we sent reporter Christensen to Las Vegas to interview Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson, great to meet you. Firstly, how do you feel about fighting a woman?
I fight anybody, especially if the money's good.
Ooh, and how much are you getting paid for this publicity stunt?
I wouldn't done it for less than $40 million, but I'm getting $50 million. $25 million from the fight promoters and 25 from Harry.
From Harry? Harry who? Prince Harry?
I shouldn't have said that, Chris Christensen. You need to cut that from the interview.
Mr. Tyson, did Prince Harry pay you extra to make sure the fight went ahead?
Sorry, Chris Christensen. I gotta go.
That's all for tonight, viewers. Thanks for watching, and good luck, Mike. Sorry. I mean, good luck, Megan.
I mean, he was an incredible fighter, though, back in the day.
Because the thing is about Mike Tyson is he had one of the most powerful punches ever seen, but he also still had the speed. That was the problem for his opponent, is you could duck and dive as much as you want, but if he was going to hit you, he was going to hit you. And the thing with Mike Tyson, and I think the thing with all greatest sports men, women, people in history, and I think the same as, I'll say Serena Williams, like the same as her. With people like Mike Tyson and Serena Williams, the only people that can beat them in their prime is themselves. If they aren't in the right headspace, then they can potentially lose. But if everything's okay and they're in the right headspace, they're unbeatable. Absolutely unbeatable.
Yeah, most definitely. It's that sort of zone, isn't it? And it's very much a cliche, but it's one that suits. It's they can go into a zone that not many people can. And it's particularly the two sports, as you mentioned there, tennis stars and boxing stars, I would say, they've got a very much of an overlap because it's 1 versus 1. It's all that one person. It's all down to that one, one competitor. You can't hide behind a team. It's just you against them. So I think it's a very interesting parallel between those sports. But it's true that once they get into some sort of crazy zone, with Mike Tyson in the zone in his prime, it's terrifying. You would absolutely be petrified.
Oh, there's something different behind the eyes, isn't there?
Yeah.
You can see it. It's just like you say, if he gets in that zone, it becomes sort of animalistic, it becomes sort of primal.
Yeah.
And even his presence alone, I think, is enough to win because it scares people.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I'm sort of hoping for. And I mean, I don't know if you caught it, but obviously Jake Paul apparently sort of stood on his toe during the weigh-in, and then Mike Tyson slapped him during the weigh-in, which is a bit, very much of the old Mike Tyson. But you have to think, is this some theatrics potentially? Otherwise, Jake Paul then decided to do this irritating meditate thing. So he just sat on the floor and went into that Zen pose on the stage. Really irritating stuff. Very much helped sort of build up this thing where Jake Paul himself knows that all those people are going to tune in. 10%, maybe 5% even, maybe 1% actually. 1%, I'm going to say 1% will probably be his fans. It's 3 million people if the viewer number that you said is what they get. I think it might even be more that they'll get in the end. But almost all of that audience, 99%, are going to be there to watch Mike Tyson punch and knock out Jake Paul. That's what they're tuning in for. And Jake Paul knows this. So he's no doubt switching his irritants factor up by, up to 11, just to make sure people go, just do it, Mike, please,
Yeah, I agree with you totally. And the thing with putting it on Netflix is it's going to draw an audience that wouldn't necessarily have watched it at all. It's all the fact that it's Mike Tyson, I think, is going to draw people in who aren't necessarily boxing fans nowadays, but have heard the legend of Mike Tyson. But also having it on Netflix, you're just going to have a myriad of viewers. And again, kudos to Jake Paul on that one, because he knows that. And then these people may ultimately then turn into boxing fans. But yeah, I hope I win my bets, and I can't wait to watch it. And for me, it's a win for Mike Tyson.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually probably following this podcast. I'm probably going to put a little bet on myself, but I'm not entirely sure what that's going to be. I might be a little bit sneaky actually, and just do like a one for Mike Tyson to win the first 2 rounds by knockout, or if it's a longer one, put it on Jake Paul potentially, just because of the stamina and the health condition, the health concerns and things. Being realistic again.
I think if he is going to win, it's going to be inside the first 3 rounds. I do agree with you on that one. So if you are going to have a bet, I think that's just
It's
not
a
a
sound
safe
one to
one,
make.
obviously. Yeah, but it should be good.
Well, those are the odds on the Paul versus Tyson, but I wonder what the odds would be on the Markle versus Tyson. So I think we've got this leaked phone call actually. I might make my decision on who to bet for after hearing that.
Hello?
Hello, my queen, it's Harry.
Ugh. What do you want? I told you to address me as Your Majesty.
Sorry, Your Majesty. It's just we haven't spoken now for 3 months.
And
I just wanted to make sure you were okay, and to see how the training was going.
what are you forgetting?
Sorry, how the training was going, Your Majesty.
Just a second, Carlos, darling. I'm on the phone to my publicist. How do you think it's going? Of course it's going incredibly, Harry. I was initially going to get you to fight Mike Tyson for the money and fame it would get for me, and that it could also even eliminate my biggest problem.
Which problem is that, Your Majesty?
I think you know, Harry.
Oh.
But I realized after watching Captain Marvel and Legally Blonde that not only am I beautiful, successful, and smart, I'm also incredibly powerful and the strongest woman there is today. So I should fight him for feminism. And for me, Meghan, Duchess of America. With the help of Carlos, I will destroy Mike Tyson with my beauty and bravery.
Who is Carlos, Your Majesty?
He is this 6'4" athletic model turned professional trainer from Mexico. Oh, you should see him, Harry. He's so handsome, with beautiful chocolate brown eyes, caramel skin, and arms to die for.
So when will he be home, Your Majesty?
Carlos, cut that out. The tickles. Stop it.
Hello? Your Majesty? Hello?
Okay, that's all for this week, folks.
Please like, comment, and subscribe.
Till next time.